So recently I posted a video where I was talking about rolling with the infamous Let's Go Light guy. In case you didn't watch the video, if you're not familiar, essentially at some point if you're training Jiu-Jitsu, you are going to roll with someone. They're going to come up to you and they're going to say, hey, would you like to roll today? Could we go light? Could we take it easy? Whatever the wording is. And then as soon as you start rolling, they're going to come at you like 110% world championship sort of intensity, and you're quickly shocked by it, and it's frustrating to deal with because you came into the roll with, oh, we're going easy, and then they come at you really hard, right? And many of you guys commented on that video going, oh yeah, I've rolled with that dude. But then some of you, you commented on the video saying, hey Chewy, I am that guy. I like to roll light sometimes. And I wanted to do a video because some of you guys were even asking questions about how to roll light correctly or properly. And so I wanted to touch on the idea because it's important. Because if you do jiu-jitsu, you are faced with the reality that's kind of uncomfortable to deal with, that at some point you're going to get injured. Now, most of the time the injuries are very minor, but at some point you're going to get injured, and you can either stop training completely, or you can work around that injury and roll. And in some cases, if you roll light, you'll actually help yourself heal faster because you're getting blood flow into those areas rather than stopping completely. And you can also make skill progression along the way. So the first one, the most important, is it's the mindset that you take into that round, okay? So when you go into a round and you said, hey, let's roll light, if you ask someone to do that, that now means that you're not trying to win. Okay, so you have to say that. You're not trying to win. This is no longer a win and a lose thing because we're not actually really going anymore. I mean, you shouldn't be in that mindset for training all the time anyway because it's very hard to experiment and everything else. But, you know, again, even during a round where you're just going competitive, you're now turning this down. You're not trying to win. You're not trying to take anything from them. You're playing, you're moving. And that's really important because I think that's one of the frustrating things that happens for us is if you ask me to go light, I'm now in my mind saying, I'm not going to try to win this round because we're not winning. We're just moving around, right? And then if you come at me hard, you're now trying to win. And I was giving in a little bit and relaxing a little bit. For a light round, it should be of, we're going light, we're playing, we're just going to mess around a little bit. It's a workout, it's sweaty, that's what it is. It's not a win or lose situation. The next thing is that when you roll with someone, let's say if you're working around an injury, this is a really common one. Let's say that you come up to me, and we're getting ready to roll, and I tell you, I say, hey, my knees hurt, so could you stay away from leg locks? And you go, sure, I can stay away from leg locks, no problem. And then we start rolling, and I immediately take a leg lock from you, and I'm trying to like crank your ankle or something like that, right? That's a no-no, right? So if you and I are rolling, if I ask you to do no leg locks on me, that then means that I can't do leg locks to you. It's off the table for both of us. Because this has happened to me before. Someone said, hey, can you take it easy? Of course I can take it easy. So we're taking it easy. I'm not attacking leg locks because he asked me to. And then they're trying to attack my leg. And their legs are dangling right here for counterattacks. But I'm supposed to not attack them because you asked me not to. Right? Just if it's off the table for one of us, it's off the table for both of us. The same thing for shoulder locks and stuff like that. I've had this happen before. Where a guy was like, hey man, my shoulder's hurting. Could you just stay away from Kimuras? Of course, no problem, man. And then as soon as we start rolling, they're trying to rip my shoulder off with a Kimura. I'm like, well, let's just take it off the table for both of us since we're basically saying shoulders are not on the table right now. And the last one, and this is going to really depend on how light you want to take it, but give and take. So when you're going light, there's going to be this natural give and take. So for instance, like let's say that you and I are rolling and we're having a light roll, right? And I end up passing your guard. I'm not going to sit there and squeeze really tight, right? Because again, I said light. So what I'll do is I'll tend to release a little bit of pressure, and this way it allows you to move and get into your frames and set up your escapes or counters or whatever it might be, because again, it's a light round. And this can go so far to the point where it becomes like a flow roll. Like with a lot of my training partners, if I'm getting ready for or if I'm warming up in an open mat, a lot of times I'll do my activation stretches and exercises, and then I'll go right into a flow round with one of my good training partners, and we just move around, and there's this constant give and take where, you know, I'll take a, guard pass. I'm coming around with the guard pass, and as soon as I get to side control, I'll then release a little bit of pressure. They can feel that I'm not squeezing hard, which then gives them the opportunity to maybe come out the back door with an underhook escape. Then I counter the underhook escape, and then I give some pressure or release some pressure. And then they come up to turtle, and then they get the takedown on me as a counter. And then we're just going back and forth, and we're playing. Now this can be one as a good warm up. It's a good way to create blood flow if you're injured and you don't want to train hard. You can just move through these sequences without any real hard intensity. But there is a skill element to it, because I found that from some of these flow rolls, I've discovered a little additions to my sequences, right? Because you think about jiu-jitsu, a lot of times we have this, A, then B, then C kind of thing, right? I go for the triangle, switch off to the omoplata, back to the armbar. You have these sequences of things, right? And so I found that with flow rolling, a lot of times with training partners, it's a good chance for me to experiment with what could I do next with where I'm at, and so if there's a position that I play from, a lot of times as I'm there, I'll just kind of play around, because I'm not in a state of mind where I have to win. I'm not in a state of mind where I'm being competitive. It's literally let's just see what happens if I do this. And they're giving me a little bit of leeway to play anyway. And so it's a really great way to experiment, to develop some skill and technical ability while still being able to move lightly. So guys, those are just a few ideas on how to roll light correctly. Again, I think if you follow those 3 ideas, you'll be perfectly fine to roll light, and you'll have your training partners and they're gonna be cool with it, and they're gonna wanna roll with you again, right? Because again, part of us training and being a good training partner is training in a way where people want to train with us again and again, And so if you're the guy that's trying to roll light and then you're trying to take people's heads off, that's not going to happen. But if you go into it with the mindset of you're not trying to win, that this is a light roll, it's play, that whatever you ask this person not to attack on you, you're not going to attack on them. And then again, just constantly giving and taking, right? If you take something, make sure you give them some space, and then expect the same from them. If they take a move, they should then give you some space to move, and you can just flow through these movements and play a little bit and allow each other to experiment and play, move around, work through injuries, whatever it might be, but do so in a way that's conducive to skill and also the relationship you're developing with your training partner. So anyway, just a couple ideas to chew on, guys. Hope you enjoy the video, and talk to you guys next time.